Okay, advanced tools. Basically, this is for all your more advanced case mods where you'll be actually building circuit boards or doing special painting and that on your cases. What I would recommend you get is a selection of blank PC boards. They're basically a fiberglass substrate plated with copper plating or copper cladding on either one side or on both sides. You want to work with this, you need to actually transfer your image of your PC board onto there, which you'll then etch with your ferric chloride. Bad stuff. Be very careful when you use this stuff. It stains everything it touches and it pretty much eats up any metal that it comes in contact with. But that I'll leave for a different video. What you'd want to do as well is get a good RJ45 crimper and a selection of boots and RJ45 connectors like what you'd use on your networking cables and that. You want a crimp plug crimper, a good pair of wire strippers, as well as some solder. Get the thinnest solder you can get. This is a 0.8 millimeter solder. You want some solder wick. This is basically just to remove any solder from mistakes you've done. If you want to remove components out of a board and the like. Solder sucker, also very good if you want to remove any sort of solder from there. You just basically push the plunger down, hold the point to wherever you're working, melt the solder, and then press the button and it sucks up any solder from the joint. A multimeter, also a must. Some would say it's probably a must in your basic selection of tools as well, but you don't really need it for your basic case mods. When you get to your more advanced case mods, that's a must. As well as a soldering iron. Here I have a 30 watt digitally controlled soldering iron, so I can set the temperature pretty much to whatever temperature I want. Something I also use a lot in my more advanced case builds is a cordless soldering iron or gas soldering iron. Basically I use my Dremel. It's a butane gas soldering iron with a selection of different bits and nozzles and that. You can also use it as a basic miniature blowtorch, which I find very handy. For your Dremel or rotary tool, you want a selection of engraving bits. This basically will allow you to engrave into your plexiglass or perspex or whatever type of acrylic you're putting in windows and plastic bezels and such. You want a small cut-off saw for the Dremel. It's an attachment that just fits onto the end of the Dremel, as well as a cutting attachment. This is useful. I actually use this instead of hole saws and that to cut holes for your fan grills, that sort of item. A flexi shaft as well, attachment for the rotary tool, also very handy to use. I use mine quite often. On the more painting side of things, what you want to do is you want to get yourself a decent airbrush. I use the A180. It's available on my website for those that are interested. It's very good quality airbrush modeled after one of the Iwata custom micron series. You want a good air filter as well to clean out all your particles and that from your air line coming into your airbrush, as the nozzle that's on the airbrush is very tiny. This is a 0.25 millimeter nozzle, so it gives you a nice fine line for your detail work, but it gets clogged up easily, especially if you've got any bad dirty particles, moisture, anything like that coming in through your air line. So good quality air filter, a must. What you also want to do is have a selection of latex gloves, surgical gloves or the like. Very important, because you don't want oil and grease on your hands to actually get on the work that you're working with. It affects your paint quality at the end of the day. For sanding, I'd recommend a basic dust mask, but when you're painting with solvents and the more harsher kind of paints, actually any kind of paint, you want a full mask respirator basically. This takes your organic cartridges, which actually filter out all those harmful gases and solvents and that. Some little swabs, which I use quite a bit as well. These you can get at almost any cosmetic shop. Clicks, those kind of shops, they sell these. Very handy to have, especially in rubbing down your paintwork after you're finished with. This is the SG-A178. It's actually a small miniature sandblasting or sand eraser tool, which I use quite a bit as well, especially in my etching work. These are also available on custommods.co.za, my website, and very handy to have as well. Okay, that pretty much wraps up your advanced tools that you need for any advanced sort of work you do. I also have some extra tools that I use basically when I do my advanced work, which involves as well a router, a scroll saw, a circular saw, and that sort of stuff. But basically, this is what you need to get to do your more advanced custom work on your PC cases and that. Thanks, hope you enjoyed this video, and check back next time.
Now look who's coming, yeah, look who's back. Quick drop the bombshell straight to the track. The 21st century killing machine burned on the inside of 5-headed team.